Paul. I'm a junior dev here at Exis. So today I'm going to talk about Metrical. So before we go to Metrical, first let's take a look at Metrical. So Metrical was created by Jake Scruggs. It is just a set of tasks that generate metric reports. So it provides statistical information about your app. So it includes the complexity of your code, the complexity level, and others like the lines of codes and
baka standby yan. Ano? Ba't hindi ko pinindot?
These are the issues in Metrical. So there's Play, Flag, Archive, Rudy. These are all separate chunks, so they are just bundled into Metrical. So the tools in Red Font are those which are not compatible yet with 192.
Question. Just a quick question on the hard code. Can it be exchanged with simple code?
Yeah, but yeah, you should run. Yeah, you exchange it with it's simple code, but you should run it separately. So, the Metrical was created by Mr. Hacker. It is just a tiny wrapper to the Metrical. It is easier to config and it is not that intrusive. So it may no longer require you to add a different, faster project. So you just it provides an executable which is independent of your project. So let's go to the first tool. Churn. Churn checks each commit in your repository and it notes which files were changed. So this is a sample report. This is sample report generated in Churn. So you can see the first class was changed 15 times. So files that change a lot in your app could be a bad sign. So it could mean that the code is improperly tested and it's checking and problems arose when it was tested. And next is Rudy. Rudy basically checks the design issues of your code. So it checks the naming conventions, the lines of the number of lines of codes in your app, and the complexity. This is sample generated report in Rudy. So for example, in this class, I have a block in line number 12 that has a complexity of 9, where it should be just 4 less. So the ideal is 4.
So what is block cyclomatic?
Yeah.
Sounds advanced.
I'm gonna.
You're gonna show us?
Yeah. This is a sample config file for Rudy. So here you can put the thresholds for for example, the complexity of a method for a block and number of lines of codes per method per class. So how does Rudy calculate the complexity of a code? So it uses cyclomatic complexity. So according to freedictionary.com, it is a measure of the number of linear independent paths through a program module. So to calculate that, we just count the number of decisions plus 1. Okay. For example, in this block, I have six conditions. So the complexity of this block is 7. So this is going to be flagged in Rudy. Other things checked in Rudy: assignment, condition, missing a statement, empty rest blocks. Now let's go to Rick. Rick checks any code smelling error out. So code smells are just indicators of problems. So they're just indicators of problems rather than problems themselves. So they point to codes which are hard to read, maintain, or even evolve. These are some of the code smells that they're checking in Rick. So let's take a look at control couple. This is a classic example of control couple smell. So it occurs when a parameter is checked before the method could decide which execution path to execute. So for example, the lamp object, in order for me to turn off the lamp, I should pass a parameter 1. And in order for to blink, I should pass a parameter to the light method. So there are 3 problems in this code. First is duplication, because the caller already knows which path to execute, and there's also a problem in flexibility, since any change inside the method would also require the callers to change. And this method is somehow greedy since it has more than one responsibility. When the caller controls the flow of the call method with passing information. So the remedy is to decompose. We just create a different independent methods for each of the execution paths. So a different method for on, off, and blink. Next is long method smell. It occurs when there's a large number of lines inside the method. The only lines that are checked in this smell are the simple statements. The control structures, such as if, else, or rat counting. And then the next is submit polymorphism. It occurs when a method is to be sensitive to the objects that are used. When you constantly check the type of the object used. So the fix here is to, of course, not to simulate polymorphism, but to use polymorphism and use proper inheritance. So the outcome. So to install Metrical, so install this.
Pa-increase ng font size para madali makita. Konti pa. Okay.
install this gem install. So the first time you install it, it may install other dependencies. Just like in Metrical, you need to create a .metrics file in the directory of your app. I already provided one. This is the config file for Metrical. As I mentioned earlier, I had to disable flag and archive since I'm using Ruby 1.9. I had to disable flag and archive. And I also provided my own config file for Ruby. To generate the reports, just run the executable Metrical. And by default, it will create an HTML file in there. Then Metrical output. So look for the index. So this is the sample. Yeah. So we have churn, week. Kita mo? Malaki. So it has a very good description of what you need to refactor. For example, virgin statements. So hotspot is just a combination of the reports of the read Ruby. And we also have best practices. So it just checks your code against the best practices. To have a better I think there's a better output for Rails best practices. So you should just run the Rails best practices and generate. So if you run Rails best practices, executable, it will create an output near directly. But this is better because the error message. So if you click on the error message, it would redirect you to the Rails best practices site and teach you on how to refactor. Basically, that's it. Fine. Any questions?
You said earlier that you had to disable some gem dependencies for 1.9 so that it could run. So what are the alternatives that I can do so that I can run the gem in 1.9?
So for ARCOM, Diba, kung Alvin mentioned earlier that there's a gem called simple com. Ay, simple and install. Simple com. Code coverage for Ruby 1.9. Okay. Try natin. So, we install the gem. And then it says that you just need to edit your helper. Here's the alternative for our com. So simple com. It's called simple com. Better.
I like that. No.
How are you using this in your work? I mean, you're scanning projects of your own and trying to improve them, or are you looking at fresh code bases, or I mean, what exactly? How do you integrate this into your workflow?
For our project, we just install this, and each developer has their responsibility to run the metric records. So we still haven't integrated it to a cruise control.
Okay. So it's something you're voluntarily
Yeah.
running on your own, trying to improve where you can, where it's justified.
Yeah.
Question. How's the donate score on the metrics?
Of course, it got the highest score. The high score means so the higher the score, the worse.
That was our project.
Before you left.
It got better since Red.
Questions? Meron pa? Wala? Okay na.